The camera slowly zooms in on a grand mansion, its walls cold despite the gold and marble. Inside, two children sit at a long dining table, untouched food in front of them, eyes hollow. A frustrated billionaire father storms out of the room, murmuring, "They haven't eaten in 3 days. Not since she died." Then a soft voice enters the room, "I won't ask you to eat, but would you mind if I did something first?" The new nanny kneels before the children with a quiet smile. What she does next, not only makes the children eat, but changes everything in that house forever. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe our channel Kindness Talks for more real-life inspired emotional stories. There was once a mansion so massive that you could walk its halls for hours and never find the same corner twice. Inside lived Thomas Whitmore, a tech billionaire known for his razor-sharp mind, ruthless decisions, and most of all, silence. After losing his wife Amanda in a tragic car accident, silence had become his closest companion. His two children, Ellie, 6, and Jacob, 8, had not spoken since the day their mother's perfume stopped lingering in the hallways. They didn't cry. They didn't scream. They just stopped. Stopped laughing. Stopped playing. And most painfully, they stopped eating. No nanny could reach them. Not one plate had been emptied in the past 3 days. Ellie simply stared at the floor. Jacob would count the seconds until the clock struck dinner's end. Food would come and go, untouched, like it didn't exist. Thomas tried everything, play therapists, doctors, even a celebrity chef. But nothing brought them back. Every day after school, the kids would be picked up by the driver and returned to their vast rooms, Ellie to her cloud-painted ceiling and Jacob to a space-themed bed that once made him believe he could fly. But now, even toys were left untouched. No giggles. No stories. Thomas was drowning. Drowning in guilt. He was a man who could fix billion-dollar problems, but not his own children. One Tuesday afternoon, a new nanny walked in. Her name was Clara Hayes. Late 20s. Warm eyes. Plain clothes. No elite agency behind her. Just a handwritten letter and a note that said, "I believe in listening with the heart. Not just the ears." Thomas almost didn't hire her. But he was desperate. What harm could one more attempt bring? The first night, she quietly watched the children ignore their dinner again. She didn't speak. Didn't pressure. But before the clock struck 8, she softly said, "I know what hunger feels like, but not always the stomach kind. The kind that comes from missing someone. Can I show you something?" Without waiting for a reply, Clara reached into her old purse and pulled out a tattered notebook. She knelt on the marble floor, placed the notebook beside her, and began sketching, fast, passionate strokes with a charcoal pencil. She didn't explain. Just drew. Jacob peeked. Ellie blinked slowly. On the page, a woman's smile appeared, their mother. The resemblance was uncanny. "She looks like her," Jacob whispered, for the first time in weeks. "I met her once," Clara whispered back. "Before she passed. She told me about your favorite cookies. And the lullaby she used to hum." Ellie's lips trembled. "How did you know about the lullaby?" Clara smiled gently. "Because she sang it in the hospital hallway. I was working there as a night cleaner. She said she wanted her children to know they were always loved. Even when she wasn't there." Jacob reached for a piece of bread. Ellie lifted a spoon. Thomas, watching from behind the wall, dropped the file in his hand. For the first time since Amanda's death, his children were eating. And he didn't understand why, but he cried. The next morning, Thomas sat across from Clara in the garden room, where sunshine fought its way through heavy curtains. "How did you know Amanda?" he asked, cautiously. "I was cleaning floors at the oncology wing. She came in for follow-up treatments. I had no idea she was your wife until I saw her photo in the hallway. She spoke like a poet, about her kids. About not wasting a single moment. And about you. She was worried you'd become stone if she was gone." Thomas swallowed hard. Clara wasn't just a nanny. She was the last human link to his wife's memories. But he wasn't ready to let her past go. The days passed. Clara never forced the children to talk. She just joined them in their silence. Drew with them. Sat by them. Played the lullaby Amanda used to hum on a tiny harmonica she kept in her bag. Jacob began humming too. Ellie started feeding the birds again. Laughter slowly crept into the hallways like forgotten sunshine. But not everyone was pleased. Margaret, the estate manager who had run the mansion like a ship, disliked Clara's methods. "It's inappropriate," she hissed. "Letting the children get too attached to a nanny with no formal training." Thomas, torn between corporate logic and fatherly instinct, hesitated. "She's reaching them," he whispered. "Something no one else has done." Then one night, everything changed again. Jacob had a nightmare, a vivid one of the accident. Screaming for his mother, he ran through the hallway. Thomas reached him too late, but Clara was already there. She didn't scold him or try to calm him like a textbook. She knelt. Held him. Whispered Amanda's favorite poem into his ear, the one she had told Clara during their last conversation. A poem about stars, and how the brightest ones never leave, they just shine from farther away. Jacob sobbed in her arms. Ellie joined. And for hours, the three of them sat under the kitchen table, crying. Healing. Thomas watched from a distance. Then slowly walked over. "I don't care where you come from," he said hoarsely to Clara. "You're the only one who's reminded this house of its heart." Clara looked up. "I didn't do much, sir. I just listened. That's what your wife did for me, once." And for the first time in months, Thomas Whitmore bent down too, joining them on the floor. 3 months later, the dining table is full. Laughter echoes. Jacob proudly shows Clara a drawing of his mom. Ellie hums the lullaby softly as birds eat crumbs from the window. Thomas places a framed photo of Amanda at the center of the table. Beside it, a fresh flower every morning, from Clara. Because some hearts break quietly, but heal through the smallest acts of love.